Hi there, Hero of None here, and we're going to be talking about the new DLC coming up next Monday, August 2nd. This is going to be the Shadows of the Hist DLC, and you're going to see a couple new things inside of here you might not have seen with some of the other DLCs, since Imperial City at least. This is going to be a 1,500 crown DLC, or 2,500 with the Collector's Edition. In addition to that, you're going to have 2 dungeons, Ruins of Mazatun and Cradles of Shadow. 2 quests, 1 per dungeon. 6 new item sets, Amber Plasm, Aspect of Mazatun, Himjaz Retribution, all from Ruins of Mazatun. And then Gossamer, Hand of Mafala, and Widowmaker from Cradle of Shadows. In addition to that, there's 2 new dungeon helms, the Mighty Chudan from the Ruins of Mazatun, and Veridith from Cradle of Shadows. In addition to that, there's also new skins, titles, and a drunk personality for getting as well here. Let me go ahead and show you guys some of the new stuff here. Let me just put this up here. This is playing in the background here. Sorry. All right, so this is one of the first new ones right here. This one is the apologize there. This is one of Ruins of Mazatun. Again, I can't pronounce this that great. But this is where you get this is the boss where you get that new helmet, or the boss that the new helmet's based on here. We did this 3-man on a veteran mode. It was a little bit tough. We took a while going through this. I think our total video time on this is about 1 hour and 7 with editing and waiting for somebody to come in. And we did eventually get like a 4th person on top of this as well. I'm sure that people are going to run this a lot faster. As for mechanics, this is a pretty interesting dungeon to say the least. Definitely need to go with a more tanky build toward the end, when we actually had people to help us and go through a lot of this stuff here. Going with DPS mode definitely was a bit of a pain, going through a bit of this. This fight wasn't so bad. The Umbering Hulk, the Argonian one that you're probably used to from that Maelstrom, was a lot tougher here. If I can find him here. It's probably a little bit further down here. Yeah, so this guy here, this guy here is our hard mode on this, and every time that he like summons ads or something else like that, we have to I have to manage the aggro on it. The rest of the guys have to be able to DPS it. We do have the option to release some of these other guys by killing their handlers, which will help us with the ads. But if you want the hard mode challenge, you got to leave those in there as well. In addition to that, the final boss of this is actually a Tree Minder. Come back, and that will summon all the bosses that you faced throughout this dungeon, and you also have to deal with ads. You also have to have communication for the last part, and a whole lot more on top of that as well. This is, like I said, a very hard fight here. If you want to take a look more at this, you can take a look on our YouTube channel for a little bit more information about this. But I don't want to give away too much information if you guys aren't here for a spoiler or anything else like that. So instead, I'll show you a few of the things you can get inside of this as well. Currently, I'm over on the PTS server right now, showing off a bit of this stuff here. So, first off, on the Ruins of Mazatun, we have 6 new item sets. First is Amber Plasm here, if I can find it. So, this is going to be Magicka, Spell Crit, Spell Damage, and adds to our stamina and magic recovery a pretty good chunk of both, about 300 when you get into gold standard on that. Aspects of the aspect of Mazatun is, let's see here. Everything has a different name of the actual set here, so sorry about that. Okay, Shield Mazatun aspect, health, stamina, Magicka, and Aspect of Mazatun. When health drops below 30%, heal for 6,806 and gain a bunch of stamina Magicka. This effect can only occur once every 45 seconds. Looks like it's going to be a pretty interesting set to go with for like a tank, I think. And both that and Amber Plasm seem like they're both more PvE related, but maybe people have a good PvP relation to that as well. The other one is Hemjaz Retribution here. This one here. You guys can correct me on this, on the pronunciation of this later. Stamina recovery, maximum stamina, weapon critical, and then 5 bonus. Gain major berserk when a nearby enemy dies. Increase the damage by 25% for 3 seconds. This has been talked about on the forums a bit as being pretty overpowered for PvE because you have a lot of adds inside this new dungeon, and in a lot of the dungeons you have adds that come in with the boss fights, which means you have you basically can keep up an increased damage of 25% with this set as long as you keep killing enemies. That can be pretty nasty. PvP side, most of these don't seem like they're great for PvP, in my opinion, at this point, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that have some different ways they can get that. But on the other hand, the Mighty Chuden here is definitely a bit more of a PvE type of one here as well. Spell resistance and physical resistance. You get Major Ward and Major Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance, which means you don't have to keep those abilities that you keep on, those abilities you might want to try just tossing away because you just want to get Major Ward or Major Resolve on there. Both of these, I see this being used inside PvE and PvP, just for the ease of use on some of those. But tanky builds usually don't work well in PvP, but this one may be used a bit more simply because it's a free buff without having to do anything. So I don't know. It seems like this one's a little bit more PvE oriented with the ruins, but let's take a look at the other one here, the Cradle of Shadows. First one on this is Gossamer here. So Magicka recovery, max Magicka, mass Magicka, 10% when healing an ally to grant them major evasion to increase their dodge chance by 20% for 6 seconds. This, I can guarantee, is going to be used a lot in PvP. I mean, major evasion given through Shuffle, given through Mirage, and other abilities is already way over abused. So this one is going to be kind of a nightmare. You get a healer inside your group there, and you're going to have the entire warband having major evasion on there. I mean, even if it's 10% chance, it's still like, how many people are you hitting with a Breath of Life if you spam it over and over again? You're going to be hitting somebody there. And they're going to hopefully survive and just kill more people. So that's one thing there. Hand of Mephala. Okay, Mephala's hand here. 4% healing taken. Additional health, physical resistance, and Hand of Mephala. 10% chance when damaging to cast a web around you for 5 seconds. Reducing the enemy's movement speed by 50%. After 5 seconds, enemies in the web take an extra 2,490 and will be affected by minor fracture, reducing their physical resistance by 1,320. This seems like, again, it's more PvP based to me, to be honest. Like, if I'm sitting there, I'm taking all this damage from a Zerg, all of a sudden, oh, poop, there's all this web around me. All these guys are now going to be taking damage, and now they're going to have their damage reduced. But I don't know how good this is going to be comparatively to like a Dragon Knight's Choking Talons, which already gives minor maim and it's just an instant like that. So, but again, the webs being able to reduce their movement speed, I don't see this being used a whole lot in the PvE sense because most enemies, if you have a tank type guy, the tank's going to keep the aggro on them, so they're not going to want to move away anyways. That's why I kind of feel it's a little bit more PvP oriented on that. And Widowmaker is the last one. Widowmaker is a bit interesting here. Okay, weapon critical, stamina, and then when you're at chemical poisons fire, 7,470 poison damage to nearby enemies. This is a little bit like Vicious Death. If the enemy's not dead or not killed, but you just get a poison proc on somebody. So bow users, I can guarantee will probably be using this inside PvP. It's a no-brainer to myself because, again, it's that much damage, even with half the damage you get inside PvP. You're still hitting that guy, and then you swap back over to another bar after that, and you just do more damage on top of it. That one's definitely going to be nasty, I feel. And the helmet here is also kind of nasty. So, Veritas Mask probably will be combined with Molokina or something else. But adds weapon damage, so it's definitely a stamina-based one. But whenever you deal damage, you have a 20% chance to spawn 3 disease spores in front of you. They deal 9,960 damage, or disease damage, and to the first enemy they hit. This effect will occur once every 10 seconds. So, yeah, that's another nasty one, I feel. That's right on top. That's right on par with Viper Set, which gives you damage whenever you do a melee ability. And I also have to say, the helmet itself is, like, horrifying here. Let's see if I can just show it off here real quick. Come on, gameplay. Up, hide helmet. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. That's horrifying. If you see that on the battlefield, you just run. You don't even stop. You just go. So, those are the new sets coming inside this. Now, some of the other things here as well, I can't show them all off because, unfortunately, the Amber Plasm and the Spiderkin, they don't give it to us unless we complete the challenge, and I have not had time to get through all these challenges on the PTS. But yeah, you guys have something to look forward to when you do come in. You can see some of this stuff here in the highlight here. But another good thing here is when you do enter, you're going to get a new thing here. Let me see if I can find it here. It's not polymorphs. It should be... Upgrade. Apologize, guys. Just looking to... I'm trying to remember where the personalities are kept. Drunk. Of course. I feel kind of drunk because I can't even remember where this is kept. Currently, we're over here anyway, so I might as well just step into one of these. Show you what it looks like when you just come in. And, of course, I'm on the other side. Ah, yes. You have to go down into this hole here. So you can see you enter in this first area here. Start seeing Argonian skeletons and all this other creepy stuff. See the banner up top. And straight to the dungeon. Now, with this, there is only one story in each dungeon. There is no option for... There's no story for just normal and another story for veteran, like they are with traditionals. This is much more like Imperial City, where you have one story for the dungeon, and you only get that one. One thing I can say that they improved is they did give coffers out when you had it. Ah, here we go. Okay, so it's not the drunken one, it's the heroic one. I apologize for that. So here, personality. So now you have the heroic one anytime you enter in this. This is based off of the... If you played Orsinium, the king had the very similar personality to this. You know, arms crossed and all this other stuff there like that. But that kind of gets us into the next items that are coming up here for the DLC. Which is going to be the Crown Store updates. Now, they're going to have appearance changes for 1,000 crowns. Race changes for 3,000 crowns. Name changes for 2,500 crowns. Hairstyles, adornments, markings, starting around 200 crowns. All hairstyles, race, and name bundle... and all hairstyles, race, and name bundle will be at 3,500 crowns. Costume dyes will be free to ESO Plus memberships, and to people that don't subscribe to ESO Plus, you're going to have the option to get costume dye stamps for around 500 crowns. There's also several more costumes that you have coming up here as well. So, just to kind of go over that as well, at least from my opinion on this, the appearance change for 1,000 isn't too bad. The race change for 3,000, that can be argued, but I kind of like the fact that it's at 3,000 crowns. The name change for 2,500, that's a bit much in my opinion. One of the reasons I have an issue with that, though, is it's just, you know, name changes shouldn't be that much in my, from what I can see. I can understand where they don't want to have people, like, you know, doing stuff in there where they just, you know, change their name every week and all that stuff, harassing somebody for something like that. But you already see the @ name under the other stuff there, so that shouldn't be an issue. Well, I'm just going to head into short presentation again. Sorry about that. Where is it here? Yay! Okay, so we're here again. Showing off a little bit of extra stuff here. We're going to get a costume real quick, just so you can see some of this stuff here. Let's go to the Emperor's Regalia. So with this now, we can actually go to the costume here. As you can see, we get 3 options here. So I can go ahead and make this all pink. Or what is this? No, Fighters Guild Red, sorry. Or we could do a sort of just charcoal, so if you wanted to be a black Emperor or something like that. Put a light blue on that. And Nurncrux red on... let's go for that. So you only get this option with the full costume here. You don't get to choose like individual things with that as well. But you can also take a hat. So let's say you want to put Cadwell's hat on as well. Well, we can't see it because I have a helmet on. But won't matter when we actually get that on there. As you can see, you get Cadwell's hat on here. But you can add a different color to it if you want to as well. And that's all coming in into the next DLC as part of the new items coming in there. Now, there's a lot of stuff getting out or being taken out of the Crown Store. Those are going to be coming up on the 31st. So if I release this by this weekend, hopefully you guys get a chance to get that stuff. But if not, well, sorry. Now, if you don't have money or you don't want to get some of this stuff here, you can go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and skip that. We're not going to really show it off here. You can go to the style parlor here, okay? And notice all the stuff that we have inside of here. We have the drunk one here. Just to show this on off. This is where the other drunk one. You can buy this one now. You have different personality motion packs here. Furious, where you're all pissed off and emo-y. Yep, that's the person that goes to Linkin Park concert. Cheerful! This is the Katy Perry of emotion packs. I don't really see why this is cheery, though. And then Melancholy. Oh no, that's the Linkin Park one here. That's the Linkin Park guy. This is the Five Finger Death Punch one. This is the Katy Perry. And this is all 3 of them after they've had a night at the bar. Now, in addition to that, you're going to have a whole bunch of new adornments going with this as well. Long patriarch beard, which cannot be used on me because I am, of course, a male in this. Or, sorry, female in this. Long glittery lashes, which you can't use because I'm a Khajiit. Sailor Squid's beard. A whole bunch of stuff I can't use because I'm a Khajiit. Subtle lashes. Temple Chuffs. 4 spiked waddles. Hair packs, you have a couple options here. There's 92 in this. This is the cosmetic ones. This is like all of them in one, but you can buy individual ones as well. So if you want to choose something with a braid. But notice again, Some of these are not available to everyone. You can only get certain ones of these if you have this in there. I think this is the best one I've seen for Khajiit that's new. But maybe that's because it looks actually like sort of somewhat human. Markings also go per whatever your character is. For example, chevron slash markings are only going to be built for Gordian. They have Dark Moon stuff here.
Dumping said refuse on the head of the Ultimate Commander Faruin during his visit to the Grandmother.
Jungle markings, which of course are down here.
Finally, knocking over the cart.
They really should change this so it takes off the costume to show you like the body area of it, but who knows why.
This one sentences him to the stocks until such time
Umbilical eye, umbilical symbols, enveloping scale. So this is all coming up in the Crown Store in the next patch. As for some of the new stuff here as well, you had the collectible bundles with the Amber Plasm guy there. This little guy here, the mini chewed in here. Nothing new with assistance. Services token, as you can see, you're going to be able to get your appearance, name, and race tokens there. Yeah. Bundles, they're going to have the new bundles in there. Sorry if I go through here as well. Costumes, I saw 1 or 2 new ones here. I'll see if I can find them again. Yeah, Dark Shaman was a new one here. Oh, I still had that hat on. Let's get rid of that hat, please. There we go. So yeah, a bit of a pyramid head. But yeah, that is a pretty cool shaman costume right there. Abba's Watch tunics. With mask. Traditional wizard cowl. No new polymorphs. Now, these are the die packs. You can get each one of these here. Basically, what this will do is give you three things here that'll automatically go on top of it. So you don't have to like buy individual stuff there. It'll automatically give you something that's kind of optimized. Just going over some of the special ones here. Oh, Kagatoi or Kagoti mount is a new one here as well. This one actually looks pretty evil. I mean, I don't like Guar because they look kind of cute, but this one looks like badass. And for new pets, again, the little kaiju hatchling here. So that kind of covers up most of the Crown Store stuff here. Now, in addition to that, we have other things that are being updated as well. Most notably, trials. Trials, if you haven't done these before, okay? We have the Malorkaj, and currently in our standard stuff, we have Sanctum Ophidian up here that are currently up to CP 160. Well, what are we doing with the other ones there? What are we doing with Dragonstar Arena? What are we doing with Aethernian Archive and Hellra? Well, in the next patch, we're going to get trial updates. And Aethernian Archive, Hellra Citadel, Dragonstar Arena are going to be scaled up to CP 160 now. There's going to be new mechanics, boss fights, and difficulty to each one of these. And also a veteran mode and a normal mode. Normal modes are going to be similar to how ESO and Ma are kind of easy now, but then veteran mode is just going to crank things up to 10 on it as well. Aethernian Archive is now going to offer upscaled versions of Darkstride, Ice Furnace, Necropotence, Storm Knight, Warlock, Werewolf Hide. Hellra is going to offer Akaviri Dragon Guard, Nicholas, Red Mountain, Salvation, Silks of the Sun, and Sears Bane's Grip. Dragonstar Arena is going to offer Archer's Mind, Destruction Mastery, Footman's, Healer's Habit, and Master Weapons. So you're going to have an option for all those people who have issues trying to get through Maelstrom Arena. You're going to have an option to get Master Weapons again at 160, which is going to be good for certain builds. Now, just to kind of show some of those items there and the new updated stuff here. Hey.
For all of these crimes,
Let me move away here because you're going to just keep on spamming that stuff over and over again. Forgot how noisy it is inside some of these cities at times. Alright, let's do a little thing right here. Alright, so, just to bring up my notes here so I can take a look at some of these all over again. First one, a Dark Stride. Stamina recovery, and reduces cost of for sprinting and crouching by 50%. So you can just stay in stealth for a lot longer. Ice Furnace. Magicka, spell critical, weapon damage. Kind of weird with this one here because it's a little bit of a hybrid. 50% chance when damaging a target to deal frost damage and deal a bit of flame damage as well to enemies in 8 meters around the initial target. This set I've never really liked in the CP 140 version, or sorry, CP 120 version that we have now, and I still don't like it, but that's me. Maybe somebody has a build for it that it will actually work. Necropotence. Magicka. And when you have pet activated, max Magicka is increased by 3,861. Now, I got to take a look at this one again. I think this one might have been removed, but I think this one's still in. There's one or two that were in here that were removed because they decided that they needed to rebalance it and they were going to introduce it at another time. I apologize if I give any misinformation on that, but from what I understand, this one is in there, and the list I have is pretty complete on what is staying, what's not staying. Next one is Storm Knight. Storm Knight. Shield of Storm Knight. Spell resistance, 2 times. Max health, and then 10% chance when damaged with spells to deal a good 3,000 damage back and shock damage to enemies every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. Not too bad on that one. The damage on that is definitely good. The spell resistance is kind of weird because you kind of want physical resistance as well, but I can see that working. And Warlock. Where are you, Warlock? There you are. Magicka recovery, Magicka recovery, and Magicka flood. Once per minute, when below 33% Magicka, gain 7,885 Magicka. This is still pretty good from what if you're looking to get Magicka regen. This used to be the thing to go with because you could get rings for it, you could get a necklace for it, and you could get like 2 other pieces for it. This was the original meta set that came out when our 30-day archive came out. Now might not be used as much because a lot of people have good regens, but I can still see this being used, especially for PvE where they need to get resources for it. And finally is Werewolf Hide. Let's see if I can find Werewolf Hide here somewhere. Should be here somewhere. Did they not include it here? One minute here while I take a look here and make sure. Savior's Hides. They did not give us the werewolf. God damn it. So I apologize for that. I can't show it if they don't give it to us. It's a bit of a pain in the ass to do that. As you can see here, this is some of the stuff they give us when we go in here. But Werewolf Hide is an interesting one. That's one of the ones with the 5-piece bonus that will give ultimate back every time you're hit with a pretty short cooldown. I'll probably recommend that one it's a medium armor set, but I'd probably recommend it for tanks that are trying to do ultimate builds, because you just get somebody beating on you, and then you get your ultimate back, and you're just able to pop it off that much better. Probably goes well with like something like a Blood Spawn, and maybe some Tyler's Favor if you can get that in there as well. Now, in addition to that, you also have Hellraw, which is currently doing Akaviri Dragon Guard. Dragon Guard is another one that's a little interesting. Shield of the Dragon here. Magic recovery, 4% heal taken, maximum health, and reduce ultimate cost by 15%. I don't know if that's great or not, because honestly, 15% is... If I'm looking at something that's like a 200 ultimate cost, that's 300 ultimate or 30 ultimate less than what I need, but I can usually get that pretty quickly. If it was a higher reduction, maybe it would be better, but I don't know. This one still is kind of interesting. It's a bit of a tanky type set that you'll find as well. It's in heavy in most cases. Nicholas, spell resistance, maximum health. Heavy armor blocking Spectralis has 25% chance to reflect the spell onto its caster. This one is kind of interesting. If you have a high block build with this, I think this one would be pretty good. I'd be interested to see this in PvP as well. Maybe combine it with Black Rose. Red Mountain. Red Mountain. This was a very... like poorly implemented set. In my opinion, it was mostly spell weapon damage in the previous one, kind of leaning toward a hybrid build that was not there. But now it's weapon damage, maximum stamina, weapon critical, and weapon attacks have a 10% chance to cause 7,727 flame damage. That's a good hit right there. That is equivalent to what you have with the poison stuff that they have. It's still a little bit unsynergistic because it's fire damage, but it's still a pretty good hit for that. I'm also a little concerned if it's... I'm not sure if this is stamina, if this is increased by stamina or magic, but you know, I'm sure people have ideas of what they're going to do with it. Salvation. I think Salvation has already been out for a while now, but so stamina recovery, stamina, and reduces the cost of werewolf transformation and increases the weapon damage by 150 when you're transforming as a werewolf. Definitely something you probably want to have for doing some PvP or regular stuff as well. Like if you're a werewolf, you probably want to look at Salvation. Silks of the Sun. Oh, this one was a meta one back in the day. I think it's still going to be pretty good as well. Maximum health, magic, spell damage, and flame abilities increase by 386 spell damage. This used to be by a percentage. Even though it's now spell damage, I think this is still going to be good. Put it with the Elegant set or something else like that on a DK. I think you're going to have a pretty good build with that as well. Sears Bane is the last one from Hellra. Where are you, Sears Bane? Sears Bane, okay. Magic recovery, spell damage, max magicka, and gain 830 magicka each time that you block a fire, frost, or shock or magic ability. So, I don't really like the fact that you're gaining magicka every time you're blocking, but combine that with Constitution and a heavy armor set, and Desert Rose, or combine it again with the other one there, the one we just reviewed here, if I can remember. Yeah, combine it with Nicholas, so you're blocking projectiles, and you're reflecting that back to it. That can be interesting as well. Now, finally, Dragonstar Arena, that 4-man dungeon that everyone talks about and says, oh, it used to be good. Well, that one's getting an update as well, and we're going to be looking at a few new things here as well. But did we get anything from that in these things here? Probably not. Archer's Mind, I don't see it. Destruction Mastery, don't see it. Footmen's Healers. Okay, so they didn't give us any in the coffers here for us to take a look at. However, they did give us all the master weapons here, okay? So if you haven't seen these before, because, you know, there's no real reason for some people to go and do this. The Maelstrom Bow... Oh, I have the Master Bow on right now, actually. Increase your weapon damage by 290 against targets affected by your poison arrow abilities. It adds 996 stamina. That is a shit ton of weapon damage to be putting on top of there. In addition to that, you got Master's Greatsword. Cleave abilities hit for 664 additional damage and also increases your weapon damage by 182. Inferno Staff, Destructive Touch abilities hit for an additional 498 additional damage and reduces the cost by 12%. Also adds to Magicka. Restoration. This is probably one that a lot of people are going for. First tick of Grand Healing abilities will restore a bit of stamina to allies affected, and also increases Magicka. When you already kind of max out on how much health you give, giving back stamina is kind of nice on that. especially when you have a warband or a trial group there. Then finally, Master Sword. Puncturing will heal the caster by 2,000. Also acts to maximum health. That one is going to be kind of nice, I think. That's even in PvP. That's a 1,000-point hit if you're just stabbing somebody over and over again, combined with all the other dots that you're going to have on top of there. So that's some of the stuff that's going to be updated with the next trial set. That looks kind of fun to go through. All right. So next, we're going to go over ability changes. Okay, there is a lot here. I apologize for the wordiness of it. You've already been listening to me rant on for a while here. Well, get ready for a long one here. I tried to go through most of these here, but we're not going to have any demonstrations to show here for this. We're just going to go through it real quick. First off, we increase the lower level base crit chance because the poisons are also lowering crit when they hit, so they don't want to have people with a negative crit chance if they can help it. Fix various stamina abilities affected by silence. Corrected stealthing weapons used by certain abilities. So, or sheathing of weapon abilities using certain abilities. So where you attack and then suddenly sheath your weapon, then pull it back out and have that delay there, they fixed that supposedly. Now, for some class-specific stuff, Nightblade, Shadow Cloak, cannot be broken by charge up or timed abilities and other abilities now, but they're still investigating other issues that break Shadow Cloak. So people hitting you with Crit Rush, people hitting you with Wrecking or Dizzying Blow or Wrecking Blow will no longer break Shadow Cloak. If you go into stealth and you stay in stealth, you won't be able to be hit for that time frame, supposedly at this point. Siphoning attacks fixed a cheaper cost at rank 4, so it was currently a bit cheaper than it should have been, so they've reverted the cost back as it should be. Darkshade fixed the rank 3, ignoring the passives. So if you hit rank 3 with this, it was ignoring the passives that you had already inside that skill line. So that's been fixed now as well. Templar, Power of Light, updated the visual effects so it's a little bit easier to see. Ability changes continued. Sorcerer, Bound Armor, new effects, less obtrusive over the costumes. So you're going to be able to see what you have there. Unstable Familiar and Unweakened Twilights, they now fall further back when you're not in combat. So they're not going to get in your way when you're trying to steal something or interact with something as much. Ball Lightning, fixed the visual effects from rank 1. Now we get into some of the actual item abilities as well. One-handed and shield, defensive posture, fixed visual effects for the multiple casts of this, so it doesn't just go away because you cast it multiple times. Fortress, fixed it so only affects one-handed shield abilities instead of every ability that you slot onto your bar. Now on Bow, Bombard, snared targets cannot be immobilized. AKA, if you're already snared, it's not gonna stun you over and over again, but people hit that with you. People that have been using this in large Zergs are probably going to have a harder time trying to stun you when you're trying to get away from them. Remember, though, it's only when you're snared, so you're still going to have to walk away very slowly when they're chasing after you. Volley, fixed the trigger with fix it with triggering the Nightblade Shadow Barrier passive. Medium Armor, Elude, fixed an ability where the display to display when extended with armor. So basically, if you had medium pieces of armor, Elude is supposed to keep on going for longer, but it was actually removing the effect, or the visual effect, before then. But the effect was still going on, so people didn't get feedback, I guess, or whatever. Heavy Armor, Rapid Mending. Fix the heavy attack resource... Fix the heavy attack resource restore bonus when not wearing 5 pieces. So you're going to have a full 5 pieces on to get that restore bonus. If you don't have it on, you're not going to get that bonus for that. Fighters Guild, Ring of Preservation now reduces the dodge roll cost instead of increasing it. That was a bit of a bug. Silverboats, fixed rank 3 version of it from extending the knockdown effect. If people were getting hit by silver balls previously, you might have noticed that you were sliding across the ground and not able to get up for an extended period of time. That's been fixed. Undaunted, Trapping Webs. Spiders can now critically strike, so no longer do you have to deal with a pet that can't pull its weight. And then finally, Support, Battle Resurrection. no longer affected inside the Imperial City dungeons. So you're no longer getting that quick res to anyone that's running Reichgold Tower or Imperial City Prison, okay? Now, for most of these here, I got to give a disclaimer here as well. Okay. This is the stuff that's in the PTS notes currently. There may be more stuff that's added in or more stuff that's removed when this goes live, okay? So if you're watching this while you're waiting for the patch to download, sorry if something's not in there that was in there. But most of the stuff is pretty close to done. That's why we wait this long to do the reviews. This is almost set to go out the door, okay? Now, another big change that's come in has been the racial changes, okay? This is going to affect every race as you're looking at it. But most of it's not too bad. Basically what they did is they split off some of the abilities and they added in, like, I don't want to call it gimmick, but like a small thing that doesn't really affect the overall playing of it, but it kind of makes it, like, individually interesting. And they've also improved some of the other ones there. So let's go over some of the major changes that people are looking at. Orgodians. They give it a magic increase passive. Restore. They still restore resources while drinking a potion. They've increased healing done and also healing received. Okay. On the Bretons, they've increased the AP gain by 1%. Dark Elf. They've increased the elemental damage for all elemental damages. So shock and cold now both increase. And they've also reduced lava damage because they are from a pretty hot place. High Elves also get increased to experience by 1%. Imperial get increased gold gained by 1%. Khajiit increased pickpocketing chance by 5%. Nords get a increased drink duration by 15 minutes and also an increase to their max stamina as a new change. Orcs get increased crafting experience 10%, also increased health recovery and healing received. Red Guards, foods last 15 minutes longer, and Adrenaline Rush has now a cooldown of 5 seconds from the 3 seconds it used to have. Finally, Wood Elf takes 10% less fall damage, and they also have an ability. They also have a passive now to increase their max stamina. There was a change that was on the PTS for the Khajiit, so they would have been able to get a bit more stamina on top of that. However, they did remove that. Now, a few other big changes coming up here. Champion points cap is going to be increased by 30, by 531 CP max. Dark Brotherhood DLC motifs. Akatosh, Dark Brotherhood, and Minotaur. Those are coming as well. Cyrodiil town captures, along with new town merchants, are going to be available. Undaunted chest improvements. Leather materials for clothier surveys. Thieves Guild motifs for Dormothra. Console text chat, which I know a lot of you have been waiting for. Traded bind on pickup items for group members. World building, aka the making room for new housing in later DLC, and a crap ton of fixes and other changes to PvE and armor sets. I don't have time to go through all of them here, unfortunately, and really, you don't want to listen to me talk about them for all this time here, too. I'm surprised if some of you have probably lasted this long here, so again, all that stuff is over onto the PTS server right now, and it's going to be out here on next Monday. And for you console players, you're going to have to wait a few more weeks to come out on the 16th as well. Just to kind of go over this again. Oh, I actually didn't put a thing up there. I apologize, guys. But yes, it's going to be coming up on. I had the time frame written. Sorry. But yes, it's next Monday. I believe it's the 16th for console. I apologize, console players, if I'm wrong on that. You can yell at me in the comments below. As of what I feel about this DLC and the updates that are coming up here. The DLC, I don't know. I am a bit... Okay, comparatively to the prices. You take a look at the Imperial City Prison, the Imperial City update, which gives us two dungeons, a PvP type area, a full quest line, a whole bunch of things there. That was about 2,500 crowns. When you take a look at this DLC, it gives us 2 dungeons, and it's for 1,500 crowns. That means that the Imperial City dungeons that we had were about 1,500 crowns, and the rest of that was 1,000 crown. If it's 1,000 crowns to get that much more PvP stuff, I'm sure every PvPer out there is asking, why don't we get more PvP stuff? We're willing to pay the crowns for it. But I understand that that was all combined as one item together, pushed out, and that's part of it. I still feel like it should have been a little bit cheaper. I asked on the forums there. People came back and they said, well, we like it, we don't like it. We could use a little bit more, we could use a little bit less. But, I mean, either way, it's still... to me, it still feels like it needs a little bit more to it for the cost of 1,500 crowns. If they're going to put it at 1,000 crowns, or let's say 1,250 crowns, that would feel a little bit more on par. But I guess it's what it is right now. I'm just hoping that the next DLC that they come out with, because they've had a very large DLC with Hrothgar, very large DLC with Imperial City. They had a medium size with Thieves Guild, a medium size with Dark Brotherhood, and now a small one with this one. I'm hoping the next one is going to be large. Okay, I'm looking for another Hrothgar type area. If they can get a large one out here, and these small ones come in as we go through, that should be fine. Also, keep in mind that they have ESO Gold coming up here in. I want to say in the next few months. They kind of whispered that it was coming. So if this is included in ESO Gold, I'll probably get that. Now, if you're wondering if you should buy it or not buy it, if you're into dungeons, if you're into the PvE thing, go ahead and get this. All right, you're going to have some stuff to do, folks, and it's going to be part of the gold pledges. If you have ESO Plus, you don't have to buy it. You just go off and do it, and you can get your gear, and you don't have to worry about it. If you don't have it and you do only PvP, maybe get ESO Plus for a month, and then get your stuff, and then get out. That's an easy thing. The good thing with this is definitely the fact that they've updated the trials here. So now every trial has a normal and veteran mode, and everything is at CP 160. Getting that CP 160 is where you really need to go with some of that. The changes overall with the racial passives, they're good. I don't see much issue. I'm sure the min-maxers are happy about some of it, unhappy about other parts of it, but it seems good to me. The crown stored items, I definitely like the variety they're adding into that. It gets something for everyone, gets new personalities. I like where they're going with the personalities. If people don't like it, well, don't buy it. So that's the opinion I have on that. And otherwise, it's pretty good overall, I think. Trials, crown store updates, abilities, racial changes. So yeah, this is a small review of a small DLC and update coming up here, but has some pretty good changes as well. Hope you guys also saw some of the stuff we did with the housing previously. And if you have any questions or anything like that, put it down below. But hopefully this has been entertaining enough for you while you're waiting for your download. And if not, well, your download's done, so you can go play it and review it yourself. All right. Have a good one, guys, and in the meantime, and done.